home season on Saturday, taking on the Penn State Nittany Lions in a 3:30 kickoff at Ross-Ade Stadium. The Boilermakers, with 3 games left on the schedule, will be on the road for the final 2 at Michigan State and at Indiana. So the last chance for the fans to see the Boilermakers at Ross-Ade this year coming up on Saturday, and just a few tickets left for that one. We'll be talking this afternoon and this evening with Ryan Walters, the head coach of the Boilermakers. We'll also be talking with Hudson Miller and Drew Bibber, a couple of student athletes who will be competing on Saturday against the Nittany Lions. Again, you can follow along tonight. Today we're on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube on the Purdue Athletics channels. We will have head coach Ryan Walters coming with us next. It is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Trey Kaufman-Wren finds the open man, Jakari Harris with the three. Here's Braden Smith looking for a three. He'll find it at the top of the key. Kaufman-Wren drop off to Berg. Berg with the fit. Smith with the three.
It's kind of cleared a bit. Now, you could easily throw Cam Heide in there, and Purdue now also with the opportunity to go small and play Kaufman-Wren to the 5.
Here's Simmons, poke free, Smith with the steal. And Smith to the other end for the easy 2. Smith, hard bounce, Kaufman-Wren slithers to the rim. Braden Smith, quick push ahead to Lawyer. 3 seconds, Lawyer gets a good look at 3 minutes. And one away to end the half for the Boilermakers. The 3 from Lawyer makes it 45-34. Ending the half with a flourish, the 3 at the top of the key.
Our state funds are just taking it to the rim.
The combination of Townsend and Alaton is going to be an interesting combo in the Ivy this year as Kaufman-Wren gets out of the lane. Alaton right there. Kaufman-Wren stays with it. Pivots it back out to Colvin. His 3 will fall. Shot clock for Braden Smith. Around the Kaufman-Wren screen. He'll feed it to his big down low. Working against Townsend inside. He dislodged him and he gets the 2.
He can make them, but you just feel like you can get better looks than that if you're Yale right now.
Here's C.J. Cox. A good look at the rim and a chance for one more.
He came off that ball screen and just no one impact.
Able to save it in play is Mbang. Mbang, corner with a Euro step against Smith. Can't get it to go. Mbang from the seat of his pants. Throws it to Braden Smith. Leaking out to Colvin. One-hand hammer. Half, and everybody's still celebrating the dunk.
Well, from the seat of his pants, Mbang starts the break, and Miles Colvin has had himself a ball game tonight. I love the fact that he hasn't necessarily played through his jumper. Yeah, he's got 8 points, but he's also got 4 rebounds. He's chased Poulikitis, and how about the emphatic slam?
Ball Live, we're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat free on Tuesdays. The 2024 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you'll be proud of with Purdue Global. Purdue's online university for working adults and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Ryan Walters has joined us on the first segment of the show. And Ryan, you said you had not been to the Horseshoe before at Ohio Stadium. Your experience there last week, what were your impressions of it as you were on the sidelines?
Obviously a great venue, right? Just historically, a lot of great teams, great coaches that have came through there. Atmosphere was electric, as you would expect, with the number 2 team in the country.
Right.
And it was a quick flight, so travel was
easy. We like
easy.
that part of it. I have to admit, now, coming back, we had Markel Jones as one of our co-pilots. Yeah. Markel was a great running back here. And for those, I think a lot of people understand that the Purdue airport is big enough to hold the plane, but not real big. So we tend to have some pretty rough landings, and then they throw that thruster. He did warn us that the landing would be, and his quote was, smacky. I've never heard a pilot say before that we land that it's going to be a little smacky. That's better smacky than crashy.
Yeah, I mean, and that was actually a pretty accurate description.
Yes, it was.
He's a football guy, so I'm sure he was a little more aggressive than most, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Markel was a heck of a player here, too, and number 8 got to the end zone a lot. He was really an Indiana high school football legend. You really played pretty well, especially in the first half on Saturday. Couple of special teams miscues, though, and special teams has been pretty solid, but the punt block seemed to kind of turn the momentum their way in the first quarter a little bit.
You can't make mistakes like that against a caliber team like that and expect to have a chance to win. There was a point in the game where we're down 7-0. You get in the red area, trying to come away with points and
Right.
don't. That's also deflating. I thought our defense did a good job after the punt block. You hold them to 4th and goal, you know what I mean, and they end up getting in there. So just keep reiterating to our guys. They are fighting for 4 quarters. They've really stuck together. But it's about execution when you're playing against a top 4 or 5 team. So we got a lot of young guys that are getting a lot of valuable experience and valuable reps against the top teams in the country. I think this will be the 3rd game in a 4-game span where you play 3 of the top 4 teams. So guys they're fighting, they're learning, and they're continuing to improve. So I'm looking forward to the rest of November.
You mentioned the missed field goal, and we hear Matt Painter all the time talk about when you get to the free throw line and don't convert your free throws, it's deflating. And I know that it's, obviously nobody's trying to miss a field goal, but it's
absolutely.
really hard to pick up after you get all. And it was a great drive
Yeah.
to take the ball down the field, but you come away with no points. That was difficult.
Yeah, it's tough, and I feel for Spence. Again, he's another true freshman that is playing in the horseshoe and has got 2 opportunities like that and to come up short. But I am happy with the way the locker room has sort of got behind him, and he's done a good job in practice this week along with Ben Freehill. So still got confidence in those guys on Saturday.
Talk about the offense, and Hudson Card was was under pressure a lot of the day. I mean, Ohio State, you look at that defensive line, a lot of those guys are going to be playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
When you looked at his performance and looked at the offensive performance in general, what did you think?
We executed at times. Again, that's an elite defense. The number 4 team in the country didn't get in the end zone against those guys. And I thought we had opportunities. A couple guys made some incredible catches down the field. Shamar Rigby, again, another true freshman, had a heck of a catch that led to an explosive, along with Jerron Tibbs on the double catch. And Hudson, obviously there's some throws that he wants back. Thought he had a chance, on the interception to get the ball out a little quicker and kind of put it on a rope to get us back near the goal line. And again, they got to give credit where credit is due. That is an elite defense, and they got a bunch of guys that'll be playing on Sunday. But there were bright spots on the offensive line as well. I think Marcus Poe is playing at an elite level right now, and he really held his own and some on the right side. And Gus Hartwig obviously is doing a heck of a job too. All those guys are doing a good job. Playing against an elite defense, you're gonna have some miscues, and you're not gonna win every one-on-one matchup. But I thought we moved the ball at times, stalled out sometimes, and you have definitely learned from the tape and have had a good week of practice offensively.
I talked to you right after the game, and one of the guys that stood out during the contest, and we talk about him week after week, was Devin Mockabee.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that I don't care for whether you're playing Ohio State or who you're playing, the first guy that hits him very, very rarely brings him down.
Yeah, he's got some grit to him and some perseverance and just a relentless attitude toward getting yards and not letting the first guy get you down. He's as competitive as the guy we got in the locker room, and which is why he's a leader on the team.
All right, we're coming to you from Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. Back with more after this. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
6 Indiana leads here in set 1. And on the overpass, Lord in the Big Ten, Indiana trying to work on that. Avery Tatum near post, and Eva Hudson, the solo. Candela sends it over. Gary to Tatum, blocked! 2 points away from a set 1 victory. Anderson sends it over, Geddes digs it out. On the near post, Tatum blocked. Gary with a lunge, keeps it up. Tatum tries again, and Anderson keeps it in. Hudson with a running start as a dig from Hayworth goes a bit wild, and a free ball coming for Purdue. Hudson with authority goes to the, as Hornung will serve for Purdue, targets Vickers. Hayworth, Alonzo Corsellis, Indiana retains. Vickers again, blocked by Colvin. 21, then Purdue went on the 4-0 run. Hudson. 12-10, Indiana leads. Raven Colvin again.
Chicoine plays that one. Anderson to Colvin off the slide. Boilers keep it alive. And Raven Colvin.
That one right down.
Eva Hudson finishing off the Wolverines here in set number 2. The Boilers win 25-21. Taking control of set number 3. Let's see if the Boilers can adjust the defense. Ball hit over. Set for Hudson. Eva Hudson with the exclamation point on this Boilers 3-0 sweep. They win set number 3, 25-18.
Yeah, and a 4-0 scoring run to end that last set by Purdue. 7-6 Indiana leads here in set 1.
Purdue Football Live is presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, the official credit union for Purdue fans. Boilermakers against Penn State, 3:30 kickoff at Ross-Ade Stadium on Saturday. Now, next week, Purdue Football Live will be on a different night because the Boilermakers will play on Friday night at Michigan State. So our show will be on next Wednesday at 6:05. Next Wednesday night at 6:05 for Purdue Football Live. You've had Andrew Sawinski back on both punt returns and kickoff returns, and I guess job one, returning punts and kickoffs, catch the football, and Andrew Sawinski can catch the football.
Absolutely can. He's as trustworthy a guy back there, which is why he's back there. You know what I mean? You feel real comfortable when he's back there to secure the ball and maintain momentum.
Just one last thing about Ohio State. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but one of the things they live on is big plays. I mean, they are explosive. You got Travion Henderson and all those great receivers. You know, if I had told you before the game they're not going to get a play of 30 yards or more from scrimmage, that's a win for the defense because that, again, is one of the more explosive offenses you'll face.
Yeah, you know, that's been a point of emphasis is not giving up explosives. And, you know, I thought our guys did that, obviously, you know, and to do it against the number 2 team in the country. Like I said, I thought they played well in spurts and got put in some tough situations and really fought to try to get stops. And so, you know, those guys are continuing to improve, continuing to get better. They've had a really good week of practice.
It is senior day for you at Ross-Ade on Saturday. Do you remember back, what do you remember about your senior day in college? Anything in particular stand out that day?
Yeah, it was just like wild time flies, you know.
Yeah.
It felt like I just walked in as a freshman, and then, you know, the last time on Folsom Field was a surreal moment for sure.
Is it hard? It has to be hard to take the jersey off. I don't know if that was your last game period or if you played anymore. The last time you take that jersey off, as in your case as a member of Colorado, but these guys, when they take it off, do you think they fully understand that this is it? There's no more after this.
You know, I think every individual's case is sort of their experience, right? You know, I remember the last time I took pads off. You know, my body was beat up.
Yeah.
It was time, so it was almost a relief. Like, okay, I can move on to the next phase of life. But the moments you remember, you know, how tough it was to play, what it felt like when you made good plays. You know, you remember the experiences in the locker room, and you know, I tell stories all the time about some of the events and experiences that I went through as a collegiate athlete. So that, you know, wouldn't trade those for anything, man. It is a joy to play college football and to be a part of that group and that community. And it's why it's the best game out there.
And it's hard to overestimate or overstate the physical toll that football takes on your body. You think about the college game. You guys are playing 12 games. They go up to the next level. You're two-thirds of the way through the season. You still have a third of the way to go to get to the finish line, and that's not including the playoffs.
Right. No, I'm a walking testament to how physically taxing it is. You know, I've had 7 football-related surgeries. You know, I feel a lot older physically than I actually am. But like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
The senior class that you have going this year, again, these are guys that stuck with you a couple of years ago when you came in. Some of these guys have been here 4 years, 5 years. Some are one-year guys. What does this group in particular mean to you as you salute them on Saturday?
They mean everything to me, man. They've been pivotal in sort of laying the foundation for, the standard of how you operate, the way you prepare, how you practice. They've been really good examples for the amount of young guys that we have. And for me, this is my first 2 years as a head coach, to have that group be as mature as they are, and really, through these adverse moments and building, things take time, and they've stuck together, and they've been pivotal on keeping the locker room together and keeping us solidified and blocking out noise and moving forward and improving. And so my hat's off to those guys. My phone number will be locked in their phones until I'm 6 feet under. You know what I mean? I've got their back, and we'll do anything I can to help those guys as they move forward in life.
You mentioned sticking with you. I think you have to give props, and as we have the final home game coming up Saturday, the crowd at Ross-Ade Stadium this year has been phenomenal. I mean, you've had sellouts, 3 sellouts, and you're close to 3 others, and you've got maybe a couple thousand tickets left for Saturday. And these fans have really stuck with you in a difficult season.
They have, and the amount of support from the community, I've received emails and mail and text messages and phone calls, just with support and saying that we're proud of you for sticking through and keeping the guys together and going out and fighting every Saturday through a tough season. And so I appreciate that. The locker room really appreciates that. And there's no place like Ross-Ade, playing in front of Purdue faithful, and hopefully we'll put on a good show for everybody on Saturday.
All right, we'll have more with the head coach when we come back. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Yeah, Coach Chaney, he called my number on that play, and I remember the exact play. It was Charles coming in motion, and we were trying to sell the run in the outside zone or a pitch on that play, and I think we call that play the O shoot play, but you don't say shoot.
Yep. And
so my whole thing is I'm supposed to act like I slip and I fall, and it was the worst acting I've done in my whole entire life. I look at that play, I'm like, how could they have fallen for that? But I do this little fall, and then I pick back up, I run across, and there I am wide open for that play. And that was fun because that was also, like you said, the linebackers. I think the person that was the first person that would have touched me to make a play on that was A.J. Hawk, who went on and had a great career, who I played against tons of times in the NFL. So it's real fun to look back on that type of thing, especially in a winning effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I was reviewing the video this morning, and I never noticed before that you've slipped and fell on that play. To hear that was part of the design. First of all, what a wild play design to say, hey, you're our primary. We need you to fall down.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I think that it's a play. It's in everybody's playbooks. I don't know if very many people still fall when they do it, because a lot of times people fall on top of you. That play's over.
You're done.
And if you watch that play, it's the worst sell of a fall in history. And I'd like to say it's because I'm a good enough athlete that I don't know how to fall like that.
Right.
But no, that was a huge turning point for us. Things had gone down, and then we really turned things around at that point. Yep. Kirsch was playing good football, but I think Orton came back in, and that was a big confidence booster for him.
Yeah, it was. Kyle went, I think 6 for 6 on that drive. He goes 80 yards on 8 plays in like a minute and a half. Like it was awesome. Score the what ended up being the winning touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, Coach.
We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat for free on Tuesdays. Purdue Athletics would like to thank and recognize members of the Black and Gold Club who support Purdue Athletics through their sponsorship at the highest level. Black and Gold Club members include Indiana Packers, Molson Coors, Purdue Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, State Farm Insurance, Toyota, and Wabash. Each are great partners of Purdue Athletics. We've got Drew Bibber and Hudson Miller coming up in just a few minutes. Still with Ryan Walters here on Purdue Football Live. And Ryan, you've got 3 games left to go, but in about 2.5 weeks, you turn the page on 2024 and start planning 2025. You have a lot of recruits coming in this week. What has the reception been with recruits during what's been a difficult season for you? How are you being received when you go out and talk to them?
Still very, very high. This is a great institution and a great conference. Which is why we got 30-some recruits on campus. For the Penn State game. They see what we're building and what we're striving for, and so it's still positive, and we've been able to hang on to a lot of our recruits, and with revenue share and NIL and all those things that are positive in our favor. Still very confident and looking forward to the future for sure.
We talked on the show last week, and you mentioned the fact that a lot of the guys you brought in the portal are still underclassmen. You brought in sophomores and juniors, so you've got the chance to develop them. I'm sure that you're already looking, and there are people, you have an idea maybe who might be out there, but when does that really start to ramp up in terms of the portal palooza that we're all going to see at the end of the season?
I mean, that first week of December it opens, right? And so we've got targeted, based on our roster, like what areas of need take priority. And so we'll be strategic about how we attack that, and definitely getting the right guys for what we need, and also finishing up the high school class as well.
Yeah, and those high school players are just finishing up. A lot of them in the state of Indiana now playing in the high school playoffs. So, most of those guys a lot of those guys still playing their seasons, but it's still the lifeblood of your program. You really have to build in the high school ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. There's different philosophies out there. I know a lot of other schools are just heavy with the portal and trying to get ready guys. But that is why we took the amount of high school guys we took a year ago, and why we took the amount of underclass transfers that we took. Because I do think, as you're building for long-term success, you got to have development in your program so that you're not trying to revamp year in and year out. That's easy for a quick fix, but to maintain something, you got to have a developmental program.
You mentioned a guy earlier, and he had a great catch against Ohio State on Saturday. Jerron Tibbs is a guy that seems to be getting better as time goes on, and he's another guy that you like those wide receivers with size, and you like those wide receivers that can win the one-on-one battles, and he appears to be in that mold.
Absolutely. He's 6'3" and some change, and 205 plus pounds. You look at him and Shamar Rigby, who's a true freshman, who's also 6'3". Like those are the prototypes that you want. And so they're playing good right now, and I can only imagine what it will look like when they're senior, junior. You know what I mean? And so very proud of the way that they've handled this season and the way they've gone to work and practiced, all year.
You can teach a lot. One thing you can't teach is 6'4" or 6'5", right?
No, you can't teach that. You can't teach that. Otherwise, I'd be 6'5".
Well, that's a wish we all had. All right, we're going to talk to Drew Bibber when we come back. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome inside Boilers Center. I'm your host, Craig Combs, and this continues to be your source for anything and everything that is Purdue Boilermaker athletics. A busy weekend ahead for the Boilers on campus. All aboard as we head to the highlights from last weekend. The 14th ranked men's basketball team won its first two games of the season. Hung the banner, closed one chapter, and started a new one as the good guys took out a feisty Texas A&M Corpus Christi 90-73. Fletcher Lawyer led the way with 21 points, while Braden Smith had 15 assists to go with 12 points. 5 Boilermakers scored in double figures on the night. On Friday, Northern Kentucky came to town and was faced with a similar level of hospitality. A 72-50 win improved the Boilers to 2-0 on the season. Lawyer had 16, while Trey Kaufman-Wren added 14 points, and the Boilermakers extended the 4th longest home win streak in program history, which now stands at 19. The Boilermakers host Yale Monday night on the Big Ten Network before welcoming the number 2 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide to Katy Court Friday night. The women's team got the season off on the right foot this week as well, with an 87-77 win over Purdue Fort Wayne on Wednesday. Destiny Lombard had a career-high 20 points in the win, while freshman Lana McCarthy had 18 points and 10 rebounds in her first career game. The Purdue volleyball team went 2-0 for the second straight week after a huge road win versus rival Indiana. On Friday, the Boilermakers went down to Bloomington and completed the season sweep of the Hoosiers. Purdue sealed the victory after hitting an out-of-this-world 522 in set number 4. Season and career best all around as Eva Hudson, with a season-high 26 kills, Lizzie Carr had a career best 10 kills, and Lourdes Myers with 9 kills. On Sunday, the team returned home to Holloway Gymnasium to take on one of the surprise teams in the Big Ten, the Michigan Wolverines. It was a dominant win for Purdue as they took the 3-set sweep. Eva Hudson led the way with 19 kills, while the defense put up 12 blocks. It was the 20th win of the year for Dave Shondel's team, now 20-5 overall. 11-3 in conference play, the Boilers stand alone in 4th place. The wrestling team finished second at the Tiger Style Invitational in Kansas City over the weekend. Matt Ramos dominated the field in the 125-pound weight class with 4 technical falls on his way to the gold. Grayson Clark, Joey Blaze, and Brody Bowman also made the finals, ultimately taking second place. Overall, 6 different Boilermakers finished in the top 3. Next up for the team is a road trip to Buffalo, New York, this weekend for dual meets against Buffalo and Army. The men's tennis team saw Alexa Kribble-Kapich win a Big Ten singles title at the Big Ten Individual Championships at Wisconsin. The cross-country teams head to Ohio on Friday for the Great Lakes Regionals with a trip to the NCAA Championships on the line.
It's time for the Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student-athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler-made. We're going to focus on one player this week, and that is Tyrone Tracy Jr., who came to Purdue after a couple of seasons at Iowa, played his last 2 years here with the Boilermakers, moved from wide receiver to running back, and I'd say the move has worked out pretty well. Last week against Carolina, he had 18 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown, and this season he leads all rookie running backs with 545 yards. So Tyrone Tracy Jr. having a fabulous rookie season with the Giants. Joined by Drew Bibber. Drew is a junior tight end from Cedarburg, Wisconsin. For those not familiar with the geography, where in the state is Cedarburg?
Yeah, it's about 15 miles north of Milwaukee. So, yeah, it's just a small city, about 10,000 people. Not too big, but, yep, just north of Milwaukee.
Be about, what, 3.5 from campus, 3.5 hours?
Yep, about 3.5. Just kind of depends on traffic in Chicago.
Always.
But, yeah.
It always depends on traffic in Chicago. All right, besides I-65, I guess, what brought you to West Lafayette? What were the determining factors?
Well, I always wanted to play in the Big Ten. Being in Wisconsin, just growing up as a Wisconsin fan, so always seen Big Ten schools. But Purdue was my first opportunity that came in, and it was kind of late in my recruiting process, and it was just a perfect fit with academic-wise and like the play style of the offense. So it worked out well.
You mentioned academics. You already own your undergraduate degree, correct?
Yes.
And what major?
It's financial counseling.
And you're pursuing an MBA?
Yep. Right now I just started in the graduate school, the online MBA program.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the tight end room, because it's a really good room. You've got Max Clare, you got George Burhan. I assume friendly competition, but you all want to get on the field, and you all have done a really outstanding job this year. How do you push each other to keep getting better?
Well, first, like you said, like we're all really close. Also, Ben Furtney's in there as well with us. So it's me, Max, George, and Ben Furtney, and every day we give it 100%. Iron sharpens iron, and we're all really close. But we know that there's competition. But like that's what's getting us better each day in practice. We're just going against not going against each other, but just getting reps against like the defense and stuff, and just I see what Max does, I see what George does, they see what I do, and we just learn from each other. So
your position coach, Justin Sins, also happens to be a Wisconsin native. How much does that bond the two of you? How much are you able to share those Wisconsin insights with each other?
Yeah, it's actually a huge bond, because sometimes he'll talk about his high school, I'll talk about my high school, we'll talk about the Bucks, we'll talk about the Packers, so it's been a great connection. And
by the way, I don't know if he's mentioned this, he led the team in receptions in 2013, so Max Clare has an opportunity to become the first tight end since that to lead the Boilermakers in receptions in the season. So I'm sure that Justin doesn't blow his own horn. I just wanted you to be aware that Your coach was a pretty good tight end.
Yeah, he was a great tight end.
In case he doesn't tell you that.
Yeah, he sometimes shows us his film. It's awesome. Yeah.
You scored a touchdown last year in the bucket game. That bucket game's a pretty big deal around here. What was it like to get in the end zone for the first time at Purdue?
It was honestly probably like one of the greatest memories, to be honest with you. Is just I remember getting in the end zone, seeing the ball, and just bringing it in. And then after that, I just almost like blacked out. I was so excited. So it was just a great feeling. And then we won the game too. So that was an even better feeling.
Yeah, winning those trophy games, and you won the Cannon last year. The plan is to try to keep that bucket here in West Lafayette here in a couple of weeks. But the trophy games are a little bit extra special, aren't they?
They are, yep.
Living 3.5 hours from campus, I would assume you have a lot of family members that are able to make it down. What's the Drew Bibber rooting section like during games?
Yeah, so my dad and stepmom, they go to every game, whether it's home or away. And then my mom and grandpa, they'll come to all the home games. So it's a pretty good section. And then my girlfriend can go to the games that she can. She's on the volleyball team, so it's kind of hard with her schedule, but she'll be at the Penn State game on Saturday.
We talked with the coach a little bit earlier about recruiting. Now you've gone through and you've gotten an undergraduate degree. You're pursuing a master's degree. Why don't you do a recruiting pitch for future Boilermakers? Well, what should bring them here to West Lafayette?
Yeah, I mean, well, first talking about the academic side, it's such a prestigious university, so you get a great degree. And then with Coach Walters and the whole staff, it's just what they've been doing, and it's just been like really nice with the football side. Just all the players and coaches, and just it feels really good around here. It feels like home. So future Boilermakers out there, is a spot to be.
And what's it like if you can put them in your shoes to run through Tiller Tunnel and you come into a full Ross-Ade Stadium that roars when you hit the field?
Yeah, it's actually a great experience. Just all like the smoke and just seeing 70,000 fans cheering you on, and just all the noise and the music. It's just a great experience.
Well, Drew, good luck this week against Penn State, the last 2 weeks of the season, and we look forward to seeing a great senior year out of you as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to have Hudson Miller when we come back. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Trey Kaufman-Renn finds the open man, Jakari Harris with the three. Here's Braden Smith looking for a three. He'll find it at the top of the key. Kaufman-Renn drop off to Berg. Berg with the fit. Smith with the three.
It's kind of cleared a bit. Now, you could easily throw Cam Heide in there, and Purdue now also with the opportunity to go small and play Kaufman-Renn at the 5.
So now here's Simmons, poke free. Smith with the steal. And Smith to the other end for the easy 2. Smith. Oh, hard bounce. Kaufman-Renn slithers to the rim. Braden Smith. Quick push ahead to Lawyer. 3 seconds. Lawyer gets a good look at 3 minutes. And what a way to end the half for the Boilermakers. The 3 from Lawyer makes it 45-34. Ending the half with a flourish. The 3 at the top of the key. Our state funds are just taking it to the rim. Combination of Townsend and Alaton is going to be an interesting combo in the Ivy this year as Kaufman-Renn gets out of the lane. Alaton right there. Kaufman-Renn stays with it. Pivots it back out to Colvin. His 3 will fall. Shot clock for Braden Smith. Around the Kaufman-Renn screen. He'll feed it to his big down low. Working against Townsend inside. He dislodged him and he gets the 2.
He can make them, but you just feel like you can get better looks than that if you're Yale right now.
Here's C.J. Cox getting a good look at the rim and a chance for one more.
He came off that ball screen and just no one impacted.
Able to save it in play as Mbang. Mbang going with a Euro step against Smith. Can't get it to go. Mbang from the seat of his pants throws it to Braden Smith. Leaking out to Colvin. One-hand hammer. Half, and everybody's still celebrating the dunk.
Well, from the seat of his pants, Mbang starts the break, and Miles Colvin has had himself a ball game tonight. I love the fact that he hasn't necessarily played through his jumper. Yeah, he's got 8 points, but he's also got 4 rebounds. He's chased Poulikitis, and how about the emphatic slam to finish the
Welcome back to Purdue Football Live. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where there's validated parking and kids eat for free on Tuesdays. Boilermakers against Penn State this week at 3:30. Our pregame coverage will start at 2:30 with the pregame show with Rob Blackman. Joined right now by Hudson Miller. Hudson is a sophomore from Indianapolis, played at Cathedral High School. Let's talk about that high school career. Were you a two-way player in high school, or was it strictly on defense?
No, so I was strictly on defense in high school. I played some special teams here and there, but yeah, I was just linebacker there.
Better to be the hitter than the hittee.
Exactly.
And, you know, Cathedral, big-time program in the state of Indiana. So how did that prepare you to play here at the Big Ten?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the culture at Cathedral is I said this earlier this week, I think it's second to none. I was blessed with, you know, some really good coaches. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Barth. My linebacker coach, Derek Brownlow. One of my biggest mentors. Still talk to him every day. And really, you know, just the teammates and all the people around me, I think that in a culture like that, you guys, you just build off each other, and you have a group of guys like that are really tight, and with that coaching staff, it's a recipe for success.
A lot of guys from that program and that team have gone on to play at other Division I schools. Do you stay in contact with them?
Oh, yeah, daily. Some of my best friends. You know, I have friends that play at Bucknell at the FCS level. One of my best friends, and then I have another one who actually plays at IU. So that'll be fun in a couple of weeks.
May have to go into radio silence that week a little bit.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity to play, I think, at some other schools.
Yes, sir.
And maybe get extended playing time early on. You chose to walk on here. Why?
Yes, sir. So I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't want to have any regrets, and I didn't want to ask myself what if. You know, I think I have the best support system in the world, and you know, talking to those people, you know, whether that be, you know, my mom and dad, my siblings, and even former players at Cathedral, they, you know, they told me to go with my gut, and at the end of the day, they didn't want me to miss out either. So I think the biggest part of that was just trying to figure out really what I wanted to do and what I wanted to get out of, you know, college football, and this was it.
Talked to Coach Walters a little bit earlier on, and you know, you love to have receivers that are like 6'4" and 6'5". You're not in the 6'4" and 6'5" mold, but that does give you some natural leverage. And usually in competition, the low man wins. How does that help you?
Yeah. So definitely, I'm not the tallest guy out there by any means, but like you said, low man wins, and you know, obviously you have to put the work in the weight room, and you know, in the off season, it's not going to come naturally. But you know, getting under guys and you know, not being upright and taller than them and getting knocked off, you know, that's kind of the name of the game. So you know, when you're under guys like that, it's a little easier to, you know, get some leverage on them.
You know, we're talking about the competition the Boilermakers have faced with all these teams, especially in the back half of the schedule. I mean, last week, Ohio State, a lot of those guys are going to be playing Sundays. Tyler Warren, tight end for Penn State, you know, you got to prepare for him. What's it like to play against some of the elite competition?
Yeah, I think, you know, they're all great opportunities. None of the guys look at it as, you know, oh, we have to play, you know, X top 5 team this week, X top 5 team next week. You know, I think they're great opportunities for us, and you know, individually, if you want to play on Sundays, you know, these are the guys you're going to be playing against. So you know, there's no better time to, you know, show what you can do than in these games.
What's the lesson that people can take from you? You came here as a walk-on. Now you have moved your way into being a starting linebacker at a Big Ten school. If you got youngsters listening, what's the lesson that you can impart to them about that?
Yeah, I think it's all about your mentality and your work ethic. I think, you know, going in, you have to have the right mentality. You know, early on, you're not going to be, you know, the guy in the building. Everyone knows your name. You're getting interviewed every week. You know, that's not what you come to college for. You come to college football, you know, ready to work, ready to put your head down, and early on, you got to be a sponge and just absorb everything and be ready to do whatever coach asks you. You know, if he asks you to play a position you've never played, you know, why not play it? You know, it's an opportunity to get on the field. You know, special teams, I think that guys take special teams for granted. You know, they look at it as time off. You know, hey, I leave that to the other guys. You know, so I think early on, you know, just be a sponge and do everything you can.
Lastly, I asked Drew about his rooting section. You're a little bit closer with your family to Indianapolis. How many Hudson Miller fans do we have in the crowd every week?
We've gotten up to close to 20. I think Oregon week was close to 20. Like I said earlier, I think I have, you know, the best support system in the world, and you know, my family, they're the type of family, you know, they're never going to miss your games, and they get mad, you know, if I tell them. I mean, if I don't tell them I have a game, or you know, obviously they're not gonna, you know, miss a Purdue game. But yeah, I have friends and family ask me every week, you know, and I'm blessed for that.
It's a great story that you've written so far. We hope you have a few more great chapters this season and down the road. Hudson, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll have the head coach, Ryan Walters, back with us after this. This is Purdue Football Live, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
6 Indiana leads here in set 1. And on the overpass, Lord in the Big Ten, Indiana trying to work on that. Avery Tatum near post, and Eva Hudson, the solo. Candela sends it over. Gary to Tatum, blocked! 2 points away from a set 1 victory. Anderson sends it over, Geddes digs it out. On the near post, Tatum blocked. Gary with a lunge, keeps it up. Tatum tries again, and Anderson keeps it in. Hudson with a running start as a dig from Hayworth goes a bit wild, and a free ball coming for Purdue. Hudson with authority goes to the, as Hornung will serve for Purdue, targets Vickers. Hayworth, Alonzo Corsellis, Indiana retains. Vickers again, blocked by Colvin. 21, then Purdue went on the 4-0 run. Hudson, 12-10, Indiana leads. Raven Colvin again.
Jacoin plays that one. Anderson to Colvin off the slide. Boilers keep it alive. And Raven Colvin.
That one right down.
Eva Hudson finishing off the Wolverines here in set number 2. The Boilers win 25-21. Taking control of set number 3. Let's see if the Boilers can adjust the defense. Ball hit over. Set for Hudson. Eva Hudson with the exclamation point on this Boilers 3-0 sweep. They win set number 3, 25-18.
Yeah, and a 4-0 scoring run to end that last set by Purdue.
7-6 Indiana leads here in set 1.
The 2024 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global. Earn a degree you'll be proud of with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults and the preferred online university degree provider of the Guild and Team USA Learning Network. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. I love hearing stories like we heard with Drew Bibber and Hudson Miller. You look at a guy like Hudson, a walk-on, could have played at other schools, probably could have gotten more playing time, but decided to try to work his way in, and now he's starting as a Big Ten linebacker.
Yeah, you know, just his work ethic and his persistence is unmatched. Like, he's got the heart of a lion. I always tell people that. And it was really cool for me to be able to put him on scholarship this year. All he does is continue to show up and be consistent, which is why he's playing more now, and he's made some plays when he's been in there.
And with Drew Bibber, a guy, again, where you can point to a Drew Bibber as someone who has already come in and gotten his degree. He's working on his second degree, so he's combining the football opportunities with an academic opportunity that's going to last him a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you come to a place like Purdue, and, you know, that degree matters. It means something. And he's just another example of guys taking advantage of opportunities when they arise. And, you know, I've also been really proud of the way he's elevated his game and been a major contributor for us.
And when you see guys like Bibber and Miller, two guys that maybe weren't highly heralded when they came in here, I think it also sends a message to the locker room that production counts. You know,
Absolutely.
The stars by your name don't matter once you hit the field.
You're here. Yeah,
the best players get to the field.
Yep, the film doesn't lie. So, you know, it is a competitive environment. And both those guys, you know, continue to show up on tape, and so that they've been given opportunities.
Let's talk about the film doesn't lie that Penn State's a pretty good football team. They're coming in here on Saturday as another top 4 team in the country. Let's start offensively. You usually don't start a conversation about a team with their tight end, but their tight end does so many things. Tyler Warren will carry the ball, he'll throw the ball, he'll catch the ball. He does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. They're very creative with how they use him and try to get him touches and get him involved and impactful in the game, and rightfully so. He's a talented individual and plays the game the right way. He is big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very tall, can run. He can do it all.
And on the defensive side, they have a lot of talent, but the one guy that stands out, Abdul Carter, who is number 11. We remember, Boilermaker fans remember LeVar Arrington. They still have the memory of him leaping over two Purdue offensive linemen to sack Drew Brees in a game here. Little PTSD on a lot of Purdue fans with that, and he's another guy that has that capability.
Yeah, anytime you're wearing a number 11 on defense at Penn State, you're a guy, and he definitely is extremely disruptive. You know, his get off on the ball is incredible, and they are creative also on that side of the ball with how they use him and where he lines up, and a heck of a player. That's why he's getting the recognition that he's been getting.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about Penn State, but more about the Boilermakers as we wrap things up on our final segment of Purdue Football Live. It's presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, coming up on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Yeah, Coach Chaney, he called my number on that play, and I remember the exact play. It was Charles coming in motion, and we were trying to sell the run in the outside zone or a pitch on that play, and I think we call that play the O shoot play, but you don't say shoot.
Yep.
And so my whole thing is I'm supposed to act like I slip and I fall, and it was the worst acting I've done in my whole entire life. I look at that play, I'm like, how could they have fallen for that? But I do this little fall, and then I pick back up, I run across, and there I am wide open for that play. And that was fun because that was also, like you said, the linebackers. I think the person that was the first person that would have touched me to make a play on that was A.J. Hawk, who went on and had a great career, who I played against tons of times in the NFL. So it's real fun to look back on that type of thing, especially in a winning effort.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was reviewing the video this morning, and I never noticed before that you've slipped and fell on that play. To hear that was part of the design. First of all, what a wild play design to say, hey, you're our primary. We need you to fall down.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I think that it's a play. It's in everybody's playbooks. I don't know if very many people still fall when they do it because a lot of times people fall on top of you. That play's over.
You're done.
And if you watch that play, it's the worst sell of a fall in history. And I'd like to say it's because I'm a good enough athlete that I don't know how to fall like that.
Right.
But no, that was a huge turning point for us. Things had gone down, and then we really turned things around at that point. Yep. Pierce was playing good football, but I think Orton came back in, and that was a big confidence booster for him.
Yeah, it was. Kyle went, I think 6 for 6 on that drive. He goes 80 yards on 8 plays in like a minute and a half. Like it was awesome. Score the what ended up being the winning touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, Coach Chain.
Presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, the official credit union for Purdue fans. Boilermakers against Penn State at 3:30 on Saturday, and then Purdue hits the road for the final 2 games at Michigan State and at Indiana. Final words on Penn State, a team, again, that's ranked right now in the top 4. They're trying to get that essentially that double bye in the football playoffs. But the pressure is on Penn State, and if you can get off again to a good start and shorten that game and get it a little bit tighter, that's what you're hoping for, is to get the game in the fourth quarter with a chance to win.
Absolutely. That's that is the game plan. That's what we're going to try to accomplish on Saturday. I think our guys have had a really good week of practice. Today, was as clean a Thursday as we've had. We've been talking about how, if there's any team in the country that knows what to expect when you play a top 5-ish team, like it should be us, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there shouldn't be a team in the country that's more hungry for a win than we are. And so it's not just about fighting for 4 quarters. It's not just about going out and playing hard in spurts. It's about execution and the details and taking advantage of opportunities and momentum swings when you get them.
I know it's been frustrating. One of the things this season is the slow starts, and you've tried to do different things, and I guess the question is, what else can you try to get off to better starts, especially offensively?
Yeah, it just comes down to execution. Like I said, we've had drives where early in games, like we'll go get a first down, and it's always, once you get that first one, it's like that's the hard one, right? And we've been able to do that, getting that first down. But then you'll have like a penalty or a drop ball or a miscue, and now all of a sudden you're behind the chains. And when you're playing against elite defenses, you can't play behind the chains because now they're pinning their ears back, knowing that you got to throw the ball, and they got guys that are playing on Sundays on the edge, and so that's why execution is of the utmost importance. And the only way you execute is by playing with proper technique and fundamentals and knowing exactly what you're doing within your assignment.
Mentioned in the last segment the fact that the guys that are playing the best and the guys that show up the best in the film are getting playing time. Jairo Ojada got into the starting lineup, and again, he's a guy who, just like with Hudson Miller, had something to prove coming here from Franklin College, and he's done that.
Yeah, he's gotten better, every week, and it's like the midpoint of the season, sort of the light bulb went off. Just in understanding the physicality with which you need to play in this conference, and that's he's been busting his butt and improving, and that's why he's getting the playing time that he's getting.
Your message to your team and to the fans as they come out, because still, we talk about this as the middle of November. You still have a quarter of the season to play, which is kind of hard to believe. Again, tough season, but still, you're plugging away and giving great effort every week.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys that will be back next season, and so this is sort of catapults them into gaining momentum going into next year. And for the guys that are done after this year, it's the way to send them out on the right note. It's November is the most important time of year in football, and we got 3 contests left against quality and really, really good opponents, and we got one more trophy game, and so we're looking forward to it, and definitely looking forward to this Saturday.
And I knock on wood as I say this again. We've had beautiful weather. It looks like we're going to have a great day for football again at Ross 8 on Saturday.
Shoot, any day at Ross 8 is a great day. I don't care what the weather's like.
Kelly Kitchell says something like, great day to be a Boilermaker. Ryan, good luck this week against Penn State. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Boiler up.
All right, the Boilermakers again taking on the Penn State Nittany Lions. That game will kick off at 3:30, so we will start our broadcast at 2:30 on Saturday. And then don't forget the Purdue Football Live show coming up next week will be at Wednesday night. That'll be at 6:05. Want to thank our engineer, Wes Scott, and Teo Porto is producing, and McCarty Cummins for doing our video today. Thanks again to Hudson Miller and Drew Bibber, and to the head coach, Ryan Walters. This is Tim Newton. Don't forget to join us Saturday at Ross 8. A few tickets still left for the Boilermakers against the Nittany Lions. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.